So today is Tuesday, the 29th of June. Time is flying by. Before you know it, summer will be over. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look through all of the Discord channel, but we have an agenda out there and a few items that we want to cover. We want to make sure that everybody else has an opportunity to put their items in the agenda. So I'll just read the items I suggested we cover. One, Akaro wants to discuss what he's been up to with development. We need to vote on a new logo. We need to vote to use the decision-making pathway. We need a report on the ticket sale app progress, and then clarify some answers to some of the questions that were raised by former contributors. And then, does anyone else have any additional items they want to add to the agenda? If not, then we're good. Nod, show of hands.
Good. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's start with the easy one, which is vote for a new logo. Hello.
Is the logo displayed somewhere?
Yeah, I think they're in the Cohort channel on Discord. I think there's 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, sorry guys. That was Philip. He couldn't find the link. So send him the link. Okay. So on the Discord channel, if you scroll through, you can see there's several of them, and I'm going to share my screen and scroll through them for you so that you can see what they are. Right? We got a lot of stuff here. Okay. All right. So we had a suggestion a few days back on this green one right here. That so that's one of them. That can you all see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of the circuit board traces, and this is 8-bit NFT DAO. Then some of the newer ones that they came up with are this, and this actually spells NFT DAO in binary. So NFT DAO in binary. And Akaro thought this one looked like a license plate. So you've got this one in black. Of course, you can always put this in any color, but whenever you're looking at a logo, it's best to look at it in black and white. So there's the hexagon version, the license plate version, and here it is in white on black, or black on white, and black on white. And then here's like a color option of how something would look with color. And so those are kind of where we're going. Comments? Which one are you guys favoring?
Option A.
A.
A? That's 2 A's.
I go with C.
You like this license plate one?
Yeah.
Okay. And anybody else with an opinion? Akara, which one do you like best?
I like option D.
D?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then who else? Sebastian, what's your thinking?
I would go A as well.
Okay, so it's 3 for A. And Wilhelm, do you have a preference? You're on mute, brother. There you go.
This is better here.
So we got A, B, C, D, and then a color version, which could be any color.
Okay. Right, others want A, right? I prefer the light option, but
Which one?
however-
The hexagon or the
D.
license plate?
I'm the D or E would go, but D is, I'm a light guy.
Okay. All right. So what's our vote tally?
3A.
3 for A, 2 for D, if I heard it correctly. Nobody
Yes.
likes the license plate.
Except for one.
No,
Except for one. So I think it would
Who
go
like
D.
the license plate, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like license plates.
Okay. So given that, do we have a final vote?
Looks to be. Looks like it's A.
So it's A it is, huh? Okay. Now, remember, the use case is that this design could actually be used as this, depending on how it's used. So if you're going to put it
Yep.
on, a black background, then you would use option D. If you're going to put it on a white background or a light background, you would use this. So in
Yep.
most cases, you would use option A. So I
Right.
think everyone agreed with the hexagon except for Hood, who liked the license plate. And, you know, I'm not voting, so I don't really have a preference on any of them. I think they're all pretty good. All right, so that's done. Next item we were gonna discuss, that was the easy one. Who's taking the votes down? Do we need a secretary on that?
Hold on. We had votes for meeting 6/29.
So you got that, Philip?
I'm writing it down right now on my phone right now as we're talking. So 3 for A. B was 1, I assume, right?
No, there was nobody for one.
All right, 0. But it
yeah.
was C.
C was 1. Option D was 2. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that was correct.
Okay.
All right, we got it.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
So then where's the agenda piece? Okay. So we got that out of the way. Vote for use of the decision-making pathway. And so what that is this thing here. In the governance, hold on. Has everybody read through this?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone who's not read through it?
I have not.
Not in the entirety, no.
Okay.
Either.
Does somebody want to read it to us? Hi, Andy.
Today.
Okay. Hey, Andy, we just voted on the logo. Do you have a choice or a preference? on the ones that are inside the core cohort, option A, B, C, D, or E. E is just like any color. The others are in black and white. You prefer the hexagon or the license plate?
I think the hexagon.
Okay.
Option
so
D for me.
Option D.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's
It's a
three.
tie,
Yeah, that's 3Ds.
and 3As.
3As.
And so it's essentially the same thing, all right,
Right.
because it's gonna be both on like different backgrounds, so we come to an agreement on that, right?
Yep, so definitely
Right.
we're with the hexagon. It just then becomes preference of black on white on black or black on white. So do you want to do a spot vote on that, or is everybody of the same mind? We have one vote that didn't vote for any hexagon, who could help us be a deciding vote. And then there's a few people that aren't here also that could potentially weigh in on it. That's you, HUD. You're the one that voted for the license plate. So since everybody is voting for the hexagon, would you be able to make a choice on white or black?
Oh, let's go with black.
Right, that's 4 then, so it's A. But same thing pretty much, honestly,
Okay,
depending on the background,
so we end up with
4A,
4 for A,
3 for D.
3 for D, and the one for
That's
C has been changed to, I don't know how you record that actually.
I put zeros for them because the ones that, if you change your mind during this meeting, I just count it as a changed mind. I don't want to put documented changed vote. So
Okay.
it's just 4A, 3D, rest are 0.
All right, everybody okay with that? And the understanding is that we'll use both versions, but the primary version would be the white lettering on black. But where it makes sense in usage, you would do the mirror image of it. Okay, so now let's talk about this decision-making pathway. I'm going to read it because I want to make sure everybody understands what it's saying here. Tier 1 decisions, informal spot voting, individual decision-making protocol, decisions for which an individual rather than a group is identified by the community, group, or other individuals, herein known as other parties, as holding the responsibility for making the decision, implies that the individual is able to be held accountable for that decision if they or a delegated party acts in accordance with that decision. No consensus is required for individual decision making unless A, that individual is acting on behalf of other parties and consensus is an explicit requirement of the other parties, and B, where that decision could adversely impact other parties, in which case consultation with the other parties is required. So it gives us the opportunity to do individual decision making if we appoint someone to handle a decision. So for instance, if we want to appoint Philip as the marketing lead to make a decision about a social media platform that we're going to use, it's just incumbent on him to handle that. And it doesn't really require us all to be voting on it. So group decision-making protocol, decisions for which a group rather than an individual is identified by the community. Group or other individuals as holding the responsibility for making the decision implies that the group is able to be held accountable for that decision if they or a delegated party acts in accordance with that decision. In this case, group consensus is required for group decision-making unless A, an individual or delegated party has decision-making autonomy delegated to them. B, where consensus is not an explicit or formal requirement of the group. Or C, where that decision is judged as not adversely impacting the community group or other individuals. So in other words, we will vote as a group unless, and much like we did with this logo, unless it really does require that everybody, where consensus is not an explicit or formal requirement of the group, right? So if we need to have everybody agree, then there's a different way to handle that. So group decision-making process proposal template. Based on Project Catalyst's proposal generation process, a proposal template can be used to clarify problems and solutions for questions raised and the underlying objective of the proposal. Once the proposal is drafted, it can be raised amongst groups and a spot vote can be tallied to identify major votes. Now, we did this for this meeting. If you go through the core cohort, we added 3 or 4 proposals that need to be voted on during this meeting. So the group decision-making spot voting is what we're going to do on the ones that are on the Discord channel. Spot votes can be an effective way to reach group consensus for lower tier decisions that have less impact on stakeholders and enough significance or complexity to require key parties to be on the same page. This process can be employed immediately. It is proposed that informal group decisions are made through a spot voting process where a recorder volunteers to record group votes. 2, the recorder states the question or proposal being raised verbally or in writing, and then states the following 3 declarations: yes, no, and abstain. Votes are delivered by voters as follows: yes, raised hand, thumbs up, verbal or written yes or yay; no, raised hand, thumbs up, verbal or written no or nay; abstain, raised hand, palm facing down, verbal or written abstain. The recorder provides enough time for voter responses, clarifications, and tallies the votes. If successful, the tasks and key people will then be actioned as outlined in the proposal template. Tier 2 decisions, semi-formal spot polling. Tier 2 decisions will employ a proposal template, such as in Tier 1, but will deliver spot polls for larger groups. This process can be employed immediately. Group decision-making process, spot polling. Spot polls can be an effective way to reach group consensus for medium-tier decisions, which have moderate impact on stakeholders and enough significance or complexity to require more key parties to be on the same page. It is proposed that semi-formal group decisions are made through 1, a spot polling process where a poll maker may draft a poll for themselves or on another's behalf using an agreed upon polling platform, which, by the way, we are going to vote on today. 2, the poll questions are drafted from the governance proposal template. 3, the poll is delivered to the consensus pool through an agreed upon delivery method and response timeframe. A poll draft may also be delivered for consultation if required by stakeholders during agreed upon timeframe. So that gives us adequate time to review things and look over things so we know what we're voting on. 4, poll results are then tallied by the poll maker or delegate. And 5, the results published to the consensus pool and anywhere else should the poll so decide or for the purpose of transparency. If successful, tasks and key people will then be actioned as outlined in the proposal template. Tier 3 decisions, formal DAO special voting. Tier 3 decisions will employ a proposal template such as in Tier 1 and 2, but will involve a voting mechanism to engage larger groups in more fully automated process. This process will require a developed DAO framework and voting mechanism to be employed, which we do not have at this time. So this is actually something for the future that we're working towards. So group decision-making process, DAO special voting. Special votes can be an effective way to reach group consensus for high-tier decisions which have major impact on stakeholders and enough significance or complexity to require all key parties to be on the same page. Special voting will be available as a special utility case to holders as seen here. It is proposed that formal group decisions are made through one, a special voting process where a poll maker may create a poll for themselves or on another's behalf using an agreed upon voting platform. The poll questions are drafted from the governance proposal template. The poll is delivered to the consensus pool, in this case, the DAO, through an agreed upon delivery method and response timeframe. A poll draft may also be delivered for consultation if required by stakeholders during agreed upon timeframe. Votes are then tallied by the poll maker or a delegate, and 5, the results published to the consensus pool, the DAO, and anywhere else for the purpose of transparency. If successful, tasks and key people will then be actioned as outlined in the proposal template. In the case of machine consensus development for the DAO, further research and expertise is required to explore A, writing smart contracts, B, establishing smart contract parameters, i.e. timeframe, stakeholders, financials, legal, C, executing of smart contracts, D, contingencies in case smart contracts do not execute or malicious attacks are suspected, E, roles and tasks implementation via smart contract. Considerations. Clearer criteria may be needed to triage what constitutes tier 1, 2, and 3 decisions. Clearer criteria may be needed to determine consensus parameters, i.e. how many members occupy a consensus pool per individual, or group, community, DAO. What are the inclusion, exclusion criteria to join these groups and vote? For majority voting, what will be done in the case of split decisions? What constitutes a quorum size? What happens in the case of disagreement or dispute? So this has come out of the governance hold-on, and you can see they're almost done, but there are these last details that really need to be worked through, these considerations, which is why we can't fully implement something like the DAO voting, because one, we're not fully a DAO as of yet. But some of the earlier pieces of this, the decision making on simple stuff, is things that we can vote on. So that is what we have used for the June 1st. That was the first time we used this, the June 1st voting. And that was kind of like a trial to see if it worked, and it seemed to be okay. So the question we have for everyone today is, should we vote to use this decision-making pathway? That would be this item number 3, vote to use the decision-making pathway. So what say you?
Me? Yes.
It's incredibly complex. Is that just out of necessity, I guess?
Yeah, I didn't write it. It was the governance hold-on.
It was Troy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's great, but just my brain is at its limits trying to figure it out. That might just be me.
Yeah, no, it basically says that that we can all agree on something by majority vote, and it's not a critical item, then let's agree and mark the vote down and be done with it. That's in the early parts. When it gets into DAO stuff, a lot of a DAO actually is done with voting mechanisms that are on chain and automated. And so we have no way of doing that whatsoever at this point.
Sure.
All right,
So,
2.
yes, no, abstain. I abstain.
All right, I'll put that in there. Hold on. A, abstain. All right, 1 abstain. There we go.
I'll go
Yes
with
for
Will.
me, Philip.
What is it?
A yes for me, thanks.
It's a yes for Hood as well.
All right,
Yes, Larry.
all right. Excuse-
And Ikaro?
I'll abstain for this. True.
I'm yes.
All right, there we go.
Wilhelm
That's
is
everybody.
yes.
Got it.
One question about that. What was the mechanism to decide if a vote is critical or can be done with a spot voting process?
Yeah, let's go, you want to go back there and read that? Hold on.
I think that's the part where we still have to discuss a little bit.
It's the
I
first
think that-
consideration.
Yeah, I think that is the case. So tier 2, semi-formal. Delivers what was the process employed immediately. No. See, I think it comes down to these special things. They don't actually say exactly. We didn't go here. So that's the governance token distribution model. Right. Not really sure what that's telling us at this point. Look at the token distribution model, it covers 5 key domains: operational fund, incentive fund, investment fund, community discretionary fund. So I think when it comes down to voting on money and how money is distributed, that they want that to be more formal, which is fine with me. But we're not voting on any of that stuff yet. So we still need to visit with Troy and make sure we understand that piece. The piece we're really trying to nail down is it okay for us to make some minor decisions, informal decisions like changing the logo and so forth, that and voting in folks that are helping that haven't been voted in into the core. Does that help?
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna vote no on this set of rules.
Okay. So then we go back to, you want to, what's the tally on the votes? We have 5 yes, 1 no, and 2 abstain. So actually, in this whole thing, one of the things that needs to be clarified is, okay, so we actually have the vote. I wrote it down here. Here it is. So the GovHolon has not finalized all their work yet for how voting and decisions are made, but has presented a decision-making pathway we tested on June 1st, 2021 voting. We would like to formally accept this as our methodology. The solution would be accept the decision-making pathway as our means of voting until it is either replaced or revised using the same pathway. Objectives: clarify for all how decisions are made. Constraints: use of the form isn't easy, and time needs to be given for members to study proposals, specifically this, like this one, where it's fairly detailed And we have started reviewing polling tools and haven't selected one that will make this easier yet. So that's in process. We're looking at a couple of tools that we can use right here on Discord. Proposers and opposers and members are all the actors in it. The time frame is as soon as practical. So this is a spot vote priority item. And then we go, this is the separator here. Okay. So that gave us those two votes. We have this. The current logo was simply a placeholder and the designer has requested we no longer use it. Solution, replace the logo with one of the choices that have been presented above. Refresh the logo and identity of NFT DAO. Time to, the constraint is time to redesign and time to replace all the occurrences. Actors are the new design Fiverr timeline folks who might have been working on this. Tech replacement, social media replacement, time frames as soon as practical, and that's a spot vote. Okay, so those two we've covered. Now, Philip, you have this one here. Do you want to go through what this next vote is? It's or are you on? Are you online? Philip, you're on mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
All right, here we go. All right, so we're voting on another thing, two more things. So let's go from line by line. We're going to vote Jordan O'Hara as graphic designer and content creator for NFT DAO. And the problem that we're trying to solve is the marketing hole is in need of an individual who is willing to create video content and graphics for NFT DAO. And our solution will be to vote in Jordan. And our objective is pretty much to create engaging, informative video content and graphic designs for NFT DAO. Constraints: individuals within this core cohort are unable to fulfill this task due to time constraints. Actors will be everybody involved in this chat right now. And time frame should be as soon as possible. So we can do a spot tally right now with a yes, no, or abstain to vote in Jordan O'Hara. So let me start writing this in. Mayan, vote in Jordan as graphic designer. All right, let me finish writing this out. And let me write in yes, no's, hold on. And abstain. So I will pick yes, because we need somebody to help out with graphics designs. So anybody else would like to vote?
I vote yes.
All right, 2
I'll
yeses,
vote yes.
3
Yes for me.
yeses, 4.
Yes.
A
Four.
yes.
All right. Sounds like 6 yeses.
I abstain.
All right, we have
Also
1
Abstain
abstain.
too.
All right, so
Abstain
2.
too, Wilhelm.
All right, 2 abstains. And 6 yeses. All right, that's a total of 6, 7, 8. All right, so we have people that already voted. All right, so we're good. Everyone voted. Next is we have this one right here. Problem statement is the core cohort is in need of accurate ways of recording votes. Solution to this will be utilizing a Discord voting app for record keeping. The objective is to record accurate votes for all decisions. Constraints: individuals within the NFT DAO core cohort historically have miscalculated votes as seen in the latest Digital Fortress video. And we need to have everybody involved. Those are the actors, everybody inside this chat. Time frame as soon as possible, and we're going to do a spot tally right now as soon as I write this in real quick. So voting to use Discord voting app. All right, so hold on a second. Let me write yes.
You have for the
And-
actors here, Pollbot Advanced.
Yeah, that's what we're going to utilize. I misread it because I was multitasking, as you know, why I was
Okay.
late. But yeah, it's intended for everybody inside this core cohort.
Okay. So the question is, did you guys finish? I know you and Larry had been working on looking at different tools. Is this the one that you guys settled on? Larry, you there?
No, I think the bot is fine. I mean, there's a ton of them out there. There's nothing wrong with this one. I think it initially gets us, what we need. Is it the end all be all? No, but I think it'll accomplish its purposes for now, short term.
Okay, great.
All right, I vote yes.
Yes, too.
All right. 3,
Yes.
4, yes.
Yes, from my side, of course. But go ahead.
All right, 5.
Official.
Okay.
Yes.
6, yes. All right, we need 2 more votes.
Abstain?
All right, 1 abstain.
Another one abstain. I don't know enough.
2. Okay, good to go. 2 abstain, 6 yes.
Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is Akaro. Give us an update on what you're up to, brother. Let me stop
Okay,
sharing.
it's something I want to propose to show you guys. I wanted to contribute in some way, so I started something to try to solve the problem of when I first started talking to you guys and I wanted to develop something, I didn't know where to start off. And there are people doing things separately, and I feel like as we saw on the report on the last result from developers' work here, there was a lack of centralization of a master plan for the project. And I usually work a lot with having to integrate multiple things, and then I have multiple libraries and projects running. And it seems like NFT DAO is going to face a lot of the challenges I face on my career. And the best solution I found is what I call Workspace Monorepos, but hold on there, it's not exactly a monorepo because there's a catch. So it's a form of structuring the way you're going to work on your multiple projects and libraries. And I published this kind of structure on a repo called NFT DAO Workspaces. I'm posting the link.
Did you want to share your screen and show us what you're up to?
Yes.
Okay.
So, NFT DAO Workspace. Well, I wrote it all here, so I'll trust myself. About workspaces, this workspaces uses Lerna and PNPM workspaces to organize JavaScript projects. Here's how it looks like. So we have the workspace, you can clone it, and then you'll have libraries and projects. So this is kind of like a monorepo, but these libraries and projects, for example, here I have this library, Cardano ITS, and let's say we have Acadia, we could have many more. Inside each one of these is a separate package. And developers can start writing those packages inside this repository, but they can also create Git submodules, which I recommend because then you have more independent code bases for those libraries and projects that can be then deployed separately and transported to other contexts. The benefits is mainly that these projects under /products are going to be able to have the libraries as dependencies. Actually, they can have even other projects, but the idea of separating projects and libraries is that libraries will be dependencies of the projects. Projects won't be dependencies of anything else. So libraries are just, well, libraries. They are just parts of code that deal with certain responsibilities, certain, by the way, this is all for JavaScript development. But going back to what I was saying, libraries are just parts of code that has certain responsibility, like accessing a specific API, and projects can be the backend, the front end, can be both. It's going to be deployed somewhere. So using Netlify or maybe GitHub Pages or Heroku or maybe some serverless functions or maybe something else, some other thing that is hosted somewhere. So any questions so far?
So the libraries contain all of the sub-repo. Is it also repos in the library or?
Yeah, so I'll show here this example. If you access /libraries, this link, this directory here is Git submodule. If I click on here, I'm redirected to the GitHub repo for this part of the for this library. And I can use this package as one of my project dependencies, and I can have many. And as soon as I update this code inside the, suppose I clone this, as soon as I update it, I can start using it inside the project.
Oh, that's interesting. So this is the Git submodules that you're using. Is that right?
Well, it's a mixture of, yeah, this that you're seeing right now, the linking is Git submodules, but all the functionality is achieved by a mixture of Git submodules, PNPM workspaces, and Lerna.
Okay. I'd have to look into that a little bit, I guess. I'll look into that. It's interesting, okay. Interesting stuff. Seems like a clean solution too.
It is. I tested a few other solutions like Rush, NX, and Yarn workspaces, but I had issues with all of them. Rush has too much configuration. NX tries to give you some default template projects, and basically most of these were too opinionated for me. So felt like PNPM workspaces just links the dependencies and left everything else for me.
Okay.
Awesome.
We just have to stress test this with Bluetooth and
getting organized is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Well, this can also serve as a way for developers to find themselves a bit. So they can come here, they can see which libraries and projects we have. Every project can use many libraries, which is good because sometimes we'll be developing multiple front ends with similar access to similar APIs, or maybe we'll develop multiple backends which implement similar functionality. And you know, when I am working with these, I'll try to show an example, but I am having I'm always working on many code bases because I keep things separate. I don't know if an example would be a better way to show what I mean. But anyway, I want to get to this part where I talk a little bit about the NFT DAO projects and libraries. So I'm just going to read this. Since this workspace is able to centralize development of multiple projects and libraries, it may also contain brief documentation about these projects. To start with, NFT DAO is about the NFTs on Cardano. So the Cardano CLI will be used at some point on libraries like Cardano CLI TS, one I made, and also Cardano CLI JS. will likely be used to run CLI commands from within the runtime of JavaScript. So this is stuff we can do on the backend. With those libraries, one or more projects can be built to contain the code of the APIs for these projects. It's reasonable to consider either NFT DAO API. So we could develop a single API that does most of the functionality we need, or we can create multiple for multiple projects like a KD API, Ticket API. And to access those APIs, libraries can be built specifically for those. And if we decide to make a single API for all the functionality, we can call it NFT DAO client. This is the code that runs on the user's browser, user's computer, and provides functionality to make requests to the APIs. Or we can build multiple Acadia client, Ticket client, etc. And then we develop the front end, and however development goes, it may be beneficial to list these libraries and projects here and under this very section, maybe even list projects that are still on paper or being considered. So that's what I kind of did here. We have Acadia, Ticket app, NFT DAO API. I propose we create this for as we go, and libraries, same thing.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing that, by the way. Very organized.
Okay, sorry if I rushed too much. I got a bit nervous there.
It's
You
okay.
did a very good job.
Thank you. Well, any questions, please message me. I can talk about it all day.
Larry, do you have any questions for him on that?
Was the question to me or Larry? I didn't
Larry.
hear. Oh, okay, sorry.
No. I'm just somewhere where I can't talk. No, I don't have anything. And we'll talk about some of that stuff, Carl, when we talk on the side. But yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. I mean, good work. So definitely.
Yep. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to, Akar, are you finished?
Yes, I think I'm finished. I can prepare. I didn't prepare any example, so I think I can prepare one for next time.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have help on a few other things. So I'm going to talk about where we are with the ticket app solution. The ticket app, ticket sale app is moving forward. And so Andy, you've got your part done at this point, right? Yep. So Andy has redone all of the tickets. We're working on the exact timing of all of that from a marketing perspective, but part of it is getting the technology done. And so Earth has told us, one of the developers that we're working with, that he finished the token minting API and the UX is starting about into the design phase. So Caro, you wanted to help a little bit on that design phase. So let's get you neighboring with Larry on that and figuring out what our next steps are, okay?
Right. As a note, Larry, when we talk, I just want to let you know I have a project started template that I have improved along the last year of work for front-end projects. So I think I have a good bootstrap for us to go with.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so on that note, we are making pretty good progress actually on the ticket app, despite all of the setbacks of not having being able to use the code that we thought we were going to be able to use. And then the next thing we were going to talk about here is, I lost my place on because I had to go read the other thing. go back to the agenda. Okay, here it is. All right. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions raised by some of the former contributors that we feel like we want to just give them answers to. There's really good answers for a lot of the questions they have, but we didn't know what the answers were. So for instance, a question was raised about why there was a copyright notice put on the code base. And Larry, what did you find in your investigation?
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't remember names, but you know, it looked like when whoever was doing that. Do you remember who it was? I don't remember.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah.
But when he was trying to apply some kind of license to those files in the Acadia repo, it was MIT, and then it changed over to Apache, and there was the line put in there, you know, just copyright, you know, to NFT DAO. More than likely just from a mistake, an innocent mistake of, you know, everybody thinking, okay, I'm going to put a copyright on this thing out here. So, you know, that's really what it looked like. And when that was applied, because it was kind of done to all the files at once and just, you know, playing around with the licensing in that repo. So,
yeah, so there's a few of these items that people wanted to blow up into something that they aren't. And so we thought we'd just get Alex to put together a little video explaining some of these things. And so that's on the agenda when we can get it done in the next, hopefully by next week, at the latest. And Philip's done a little bit of research on some of the things we want to make sure we cover on that. You know, one of them is, you know, this issue of giving artists what people feel are unreasonable amounts of rebate for the work that they did. And we don't feel like there's anything that is wrong with the way that we've structured our rewards program with the artists. So, you know, these are just issues people want to make that don't actually make a hill of beans a difference to what we're really trying to do here, which is get a boxcar out that everybody can use to build marketplaces of their own desire on. And so we're moving forward with that, and hopefully a little bit of getting in front of this with an explainer video of some of these issues will help. So that covers that. And then I think that's the last item I had on the agenda. Anyone want to contribute anything else? Or do we get to leave early by 2 minutes? Wilhelm?
I think we're good.
Wilhelm, you're working on something over there, I know. You're on mute though.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, I'm still working on this here. And I don't want to say too much until it is done. And I'm not that far away. Yes, I'm not that far away. And I see you're working on Ubuntu, right? You have a Ubuntu machine, computer system.
Larry has one.
Oh, Larry has one.
Yeah, Larry has an Ubuntu.
No,
You don't.
no, Ubuntu. Debian for me.
Oh, Debian. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm running off of a. This is a Mac
just
Air.
using that.
Yeah.
That old Mac.
Yeah.
A Mac. Okay.
Yeah. So so that other pieces of what is going on with minting and some things that Wilhelm is doing is also contributing to helping us move this project forward. So
yeah, it is not needed right now in what you're doing, I believe. With a simple sales ticket sales app, you don't, the fact that you spend money you should have a legal agreement, right? That
Right.
means that whosoever spends money agrees to the terms of the ticket sales agreement, right? Whatever you're having there.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's where we're at. Did you want to add
Yes,
anything more
okay.
to that, Wilhelm? Or are you
no,
good?
I just wanted to make sure that we have an agreement there, a legal agreement,
Yeah.
because I don't think, I think we're going to get caught in legal infighting with customers if we do not specify a legal agreement under which we sell whatever we are selling.
Exactly, yeah. And we
Okay.
wrote some fairly significant terms and conditions for the for the ticket app. They should be up on that website. We at least turned them over to the devs to put into there. I don't know where they ended up exactly, but they're we have copies of all of that we can make sure that that gets taken care of. Sebastian,
Okay.
how are you, Sebastian? You have anything you want to contribute at this point, or are you good?
All good on my end.
Okay. All right. Nothing further. We're able to dismiss. Thanks for showing up. Thanks
We're
for
done.
playing. See you
Thanks,
later.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.